Hello, we're back again. I'm Nimlite, and we're building another not so berry challenge house. This is the red generation. I found a really interesting real life build, modern build, and we're doing a modern red build, which is going to be horrifying. I think red is a really intimidating color, and modern builds are so strange to me. I don't have any modern builds around here. I live in the country. They're a bit out there for me. Now, when I lived in Cleveland for a hot minute, there was a stretch of road that was nothing but modern container houses. It was a very weird street. And we used to walk on it all the time, and it was just so weird to see that. But I had a lot of fun building this, the outside. I went for more of a Art Deco modern rather than just a traditional straight line, clean cut modern, and I think it really goes well with Red Generation's personality of being big and bold and a politician. And I had a lot of fun playing up on being a hothead in this build. But the outside was really fun to build. The inside and all the red walls, not as fun for me. I, I'm not gonna fake it there. Not as fun. Now, I had a really fun time with the roof. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I went back in post recording because I forgot to change the roof tile. I also forgot a trash can. And I didn't realize I recorded two videos back to back. And I didn't realize until I was placing a trash can for the following build I did. I was like, oh my goodness, I completely forgot. So, this is a lesson. Don't build when you are starving, because you will forget things. But I got so mad at these windows. Like, not only would it not place the first time, but they just looked weird. They've windows for this build was a pain because I wanted to do like the picture, especially in this part, and I couldn't do it, and I was a little upset. But I think it works out in the end. And I wanted to get so the front of the build had like those three weird windows. And sometimes I wish The Sims would just let you have a little bit more creativity with the windows. Like just a smidge more creativity. But I think it worked out in the end. It kind of reminds me of the Powerpuff Girls house in a way with the windows. And that's not what I was going for, but the more I looked at it and the more I built onto it, it just screamed Powerpuff Girls. I was like, oh no. But I think it works out in the end. And this is me getting mad at columns. I'm always mad at columns and curtains. Two most evil things in The Sims. Like, evil, just screams evil, but one day I'll be a good builder. But this one was way out of my comfort zone, and I said that in the last video that this was going to be way out of my comfort zone. But I think I'm going to give myself props on the outside. The inside, not so much, but I think I did pretty good for the outside. I think it screams big, bold politician, I have money. The inside kind of, I went for a different vibe, and we'll talk about that when we get inside because I use Spa Day as the accompanying pack to the base game because she likes yoga and wellness. And I went for something a little interesting on the inside, and I hope you appreciate the creativity. And this is me getting mad, so mad that I built everything three tiles because I forgot that gates don't do for three tiles. And I just, so I went for an open concept and I made my own gate. And I think it looks kind of cute because I ended up going back to the little white picket fence. but I didn't want to use a fence that blocked the house because I think the front of the house is like really interesting to look at, and I wanted to keep it a little bit simplistic. That way you could appreciate the like Art Deco vibes. And then I hid the ugly foundation with bushes because I had a really hard time finding a foundation that even looked slightly like the accent stone that I used. But I had a really fun time. I figured she or he would go for like a more manicured lawn since they have money because they're the rich politician. I don't think I've ever actually built a house for the red generation. I usually do the penthouse in San Myshuno. So this was a lot of fun to like actually build a house for the red gen. Man, these base game builds are humbling me because I don't even know what's all in the base game. And it's lacking in some places. It's just really lacking. And I am struggling. Like I'm so overwhelmed with the base game. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do when I go back to building just full packs and kits because there's gonna be too many options. Like I want the best of both worlds. I want easy options, but lots of choices, and I can't have that. But I had a lot of fun. I kind of made the outside of your yard like more community based because I thought that was kind of an interesting like this is for the community. I'm a good politician kind of vibe. And then I had some fun in debug and live edit objects. And I just, there's so much stuff in there, and I never know what size anything is. Like, I just want to go back and say that I could really use a size option for like organizing build by mode. Like, I don't know. Some of the plants confuse me, and some of the statues are crazy in their sizes, like no joke. But I had a lot of fun with this build. I like the port. I really wanted to use that giant pavilion, but it just didn't fit right. It looked too rustic in my opinion. And then I remembered the 20th celebration hot tub and I was like, "Oh, that exists." I'm sorry, but that exists. But I really went simple outside because the build itself was kind of the creative point, and usually it's kind of the other way around. And this build ended up being way bigger than I intended it to be. Now look at all that red wallpaper. Just look at it. Tell me that's not intimidating. I went for like the built-in kind of frames where you make them yourself with like the scaffolding. And I like it, but my goodness, is that a pain to set up? Because I keep forgetting what walls were needed versus what walls weren't. And I didn't want to use this flooring, but in all honesty, it was the only flooring that made sense unless I went for like gray or black. And that just wasn't the feeling I was getting for Red Generation. And I really wanted the kitchen, dining room, and this front room that I turned into an interesting like party center to be like open concept and just really modern and just where you can see everything, hear everybody, see everybody. And I love it, but I hate it at the same time. But back to what I did with the inside. So since she loves spa day and wellness, and I kind of got like MLM beauty kind of vibes with like some of the spa day stuff and the signs, like the little signs you can have. And I was like, wouldn't it be funny if like she's leading the people with her like choices and debates while also kind of selling them on this like wellness MLM. Like, I went for it. I was like, she could host parties for like her campaign, and then she could also do her MLM parties for her wellness and spa supplies. And I went for it because Spa Day was giving with the furniture and decoration choices, but it wasn't giving a lot. And like I've had to be so creative with like my choices and like what I'm gonna do for these builds. Like this has been such a fun challenge. And curtains are the bane of my existence. I am half tempted to get the tool mod just so I can place curtains better because I cut out a good 2 to 3 minutes of me wiggling them into place each time. Now I did build a like in-home gym, and I thought that was really fun because not only does it play into like red generation and her wellness, but I figured it could give a boost up to the yellow generation. And with the other houses, I've kind of been a little bit more forgiving with the colors of like the other generations bleeding into, but I feel red generation would like really push back. Like it is red or it is not there. Like I just red feels so like over dominating and like in your face in a way that like I didn't see any other colors bleeding into it. And like I really went for that in this build. And I had a lot of fun building the bathrooms in this build. Like, I feel like Red is a luxury sim through and through. Like, luxury oils, bath supplies, because their muscles ache from all the yoga, and like big mirrors and luxurious paintings and like high end designer. And like, I went for it. I really did. And it was a lot of fun. And this is me wishing with every fiber in my being to use the bathroom clutter kit. But I think Spa Day has a lot of stuff in it. I don't think I ever realized how much actual, like, clutter is in it. And it's been kind of fun to use it. And it was a nice refresh from using Get to Work. Because in the next build, I also use Get to Work because of the astronaut career. So this was a lot of fun to use something different. But this open concept was a love-hate relationship through and through. I think in the end, it ends up looking okay. And can I be honest of how tired I am of using these cabinets and counters? Because they're the only ones that are like colorful enough. Like, I miss the country charm and the cottage living kit so much. But I think it kind of gives into the build a little bit. It's a bit modern. It's modern but 70s at the same time, depending on what color and how you use it. And it's interesting to see it in both lights because in the mint generation house, it was rustic looking, but in this house with the red and how sleek it looks with the white, it looks very modern and it's very interesting. Also, I hit the fire alarm. There is a fire alarm. Do not panic. But I hid it behind the stove because I don't like looking at it. But it's there, I promise. I did forget a trash can, outside trash can, and a mailbox, but it is in there now when I upload it to the gallery. I'm so sorry. I was I was building this really early in the morning and I don't think I was fully awake. So the open design concept really came in handy because I wanted a bar so bad. Like I feel like if she's hosting parties, there's always drinks, there's always music. And that built-in bar look that I got ended up being really cool because I thought that worked so well for this build. because I really wanted to do a back porch, but I didn't want to move the lot to a bigger one because like it felt too much, and I didn't want to have a overzealous house and also an overzealous yard. It just all felt too much with the red. So I like that I was able to turn this front room into like party central, cause Red Generation, she's they've got to rub elbows and get votes, and they got to talk to a lot of people and have a lot of lovers. And I thought it'd be nice to have like a house where like parties can happen and people can come over and things can get wild with drinks and music. And or they're selling their MLM wellness products. And I thought that would be kind of interesting. And I thought it'd be kind of fun. But this was a challenge. I'm gonna be honest. Especially like always putting Red Generation in the penthouses, like having to build a house. I had no idea what I was doing for each room as I went. I was winging it all the time. And I put this piano here because I feel like Red Generation would be the type of parent to like push Yellow Generation into socializing and like learning social skills, like playing the piano, even though like they're gonna be a loner and not like people. And like I thought that would be like a cool storytelling aspect, but also you can like hire a pianist for parties, so that would also be kind of nice. And honestly, there was nothing I could think to put in that corner. So, when in doubt, turn it into a story aspect. Especially with like the new pack coming out, like kind of giving them a strained relationship, like a you're my parent, but we're not close. Like I felt like that was really fitting, but this was honestly one of the fastest builds I have ever done, and I don't know how I pulled that off with how big it is. Like everything I was putting just went so quickly, and it made sense for the most part. Like for the most part it made sense, but it also looked kind of nice. Like there's like this art deco kind of vibe with the house. And I feel like all the crazy art pieces and like light fixtures I was picking made sense for that cuz I'm going to have to build another modern house soon for another generation. And I figured if I go the art deco now, I can go the more sleek version later on and have a lot of fun with it. And I ended up moving the desk because I thought it made more sense in Red Generation's room so that they could like research and talk and pretend like they're online dating to get their 8 Sims they need to date. And I had a lot of fun putting like so many cabinets up here because I feel like they're going to be very well dressed. Now, I did use feminine products, but you can easily switch them for the masculine versions. I usually build with me in mind, if that makes sense, but I want to get better at that. And I think I'm going to try that for the gray generation, going a bit more masculine. And I think also the orange generation, going a bit more masculine with the builds. But I just I'm terrible at dressing male Sims. It's very intimidating because I feel like men wear the same thing, and I know they don't, but it feels like it when you're in like a general populace of men that they're all wearing like a hoodie and or polo. Those are your options. But I'm gonna try to get a little better at it. I have a let's play in mind, and I'm hoping to maybe branch out of my bubble as I get more confident doing these voice recordings. So I hope you don't mind. But I had a lot of fun with this build. I put a lot of interesting choices. Like I thought Red Generation being the way they were, of course they would put a TV right against Yellow Gen's room, like for a little lounge area, because there's like, it's not a lack of consideration, it's just they're loud and they're a party animal and they bring home men and women and partners, and it's just more of a this is my life. And you were a whoopsie baby, possibly. And I always play Red Generation that way. And but I had a lot of fun. I feel like the white furniture here really popped. And if I had home dream decorator, oh, this build would be all home renovator, dream decorator build. Like I love everything in that pack. So with this bathroom, I'm gonna place down a toilet and I'm gonna remember that I didn't put a toilet in the downstairs bathroom at all. I don't know how I forgot that. I'm pretty sure I looked at the wall and then I had to step away for a second and I just completely moved on. And I went to go place the toilet and I was like, hmm, that feels really fresh. I don't remember placing another toilet. But I had so much fun doing the bathrooms with Red Generation. But I had a lot of fun. This was like way out of my comfort zone for like loud and proud. And it was kind of, it came out interesting. I think the party room, if I had more packs to use, would have been a bit more interesting to look at. But I'm building these in mind that you can customize them for everything you need without having to do all the hard work. And you can add all the packs you have, and you can add way better paintings. Please. The base game has such horrible selection for paintings. I don't think I ever realized that. But I had a lot of fun building Little Yellow Yellow Generations room because I feel like they're just a sweet little innocent sim who just loves the outside, loves reading, loves space, and man, there's big windows. There's just no curtain selection. Like me and curtains, we're just having beef all the time. The more I build, the more I realize I'm like, oh, we're going at it today. But oh, and then I added these bunnies all around the floor. I thought they were like a cute little baseboard idea, and I had so much fun doing. I've never thought to do this with these little bunnies, but it just looked so cute, and I had to keep going. Cause the yellow paint just seemed so boring, and I was like, she needs a little something more. So I put flowers on one wall, and then I put bunnies on the other three. And I think it came out kind of cute, and I really like it. But this was a really fast build. I can't believe how fast it was. But I hope you enjoy, and I hope you come back for the next one because we're doing Yellow Gen next. Thank you.